In this video, you're going to learn how to use had better, would rather, prefer, and would prefer. Had better means it would be better to, and it is used to give strong and urgent advice. Had better refers only to the present or to the future. Had better plus bare infinitive can be used if you want to refer to the future. I had better get back to work. It means it would be better if I get back to work. We also can use the short form. I'd better get back to work. If you want to refer to the past and tell what it would be better or what it would have been better, you can use this structure, sorry. Would have been better if plus past perfect of the main verb that we have had followed here. It would have been better if you had followed my advice. It would have been better if you had followed my advice, but you hadn't. That's why we're having a problem now. This structure is used to refer to the past. The past perfect here is had followed, and the main part, it would have been better if. While would rather, you can use would rather when you want to sound more natural. It simply means I would prefer to. It expresses preference. I would rather shop online. That means I prefer to shop online. You can also use the short form I'd rather. I would rather shop online. I'd rather shop online. You'll sound very natural, like native speakers of English. Would rather plus bare infinitive. I would rather stay at home tonight. When you want to refer to the future or to the present, you can use this structure. Would rather plus present bare infinitive that we have here, stay in this example. I'd rather stay at home tonight than doing something else. When you want to refer to the past, you can say would rather plus perfect infinitive. I would rather have watched the comedy, but my friends wanted to see the new sci-fi film. I'd rather have watched a comedy. So your preference was to watch a comedy film. I would rather read a book than watch a film. When you want to tell your preference, you can simply between two things, which one you want to choose, you can use would rather in this case. I'd rather read a book than watch a film. Between these two activities, you choose this one. I'd rather have tea than coffee. When you want to make a decision between a choice between two things, you say I'd rather have tea, for example, than coffee. Then I'd rather you didn't smoke in the living room, but you did, unfortunately. So when you want to refer again to the present and future, you can use this structure. Would prefer plus past tense of the main verb. While dealing with prefer, you can simply say I prefer about what you prefer. But as I mentioned earlier, if you want to sound more natural, you can say I would rather or I'd rather. But also it's fine to use prefer as it is. We have the structure here, prefer plus full infinitive plus rather than plus bare infinitive. I prefer to eat healthy food rather than eat fast food, or you can leave this verb out. I prefer to eat healthy food rather than fast food. So when you want to choose between two things, eating healthy or fast food, I prefer to eat healthy food rather than fast food. Expressing general preference, you can use the structure prefer plus ing form plus do plus again ing form. I prefer cycling to sailing. When you want to make a difference between two things that you prefer, but there is one that you prefer more than the other one to the other one, I prefer cycling to sailing. Then another case would be if you use nouns instead of ing forms. I prefer meat to fish. I prefer meat to fish. If you have to choose between meat to fish, you can say I prefer meat to fish. Or you can also say I'd rather have meat than fish. Then, if you want to express a specific preference, you can say I would prefer to go hiking rather than stay in this weekend. I would prefer to go hiking rather than stay in this weekend. When you want to express a specific preference. So the structure is would prefer, like we have here, full infinitive, to go, rather than, plus bare infinitive, that means infinitive without to, as we have to go. To go is full infinitive, bare infinitive is just stay. And full infinitive of stay would have been to stay, while bare infinitive of to go would have been go. Thank you. Then, when you want to express preference in the present, you can say, I would prefer it if I had more options. I'd prefer it if I had more options. About preference in the past, you can use would have preferred it if plus past perfect. We would have preferred it if you had informed us earlier, but you hadn't. This is it. Hope you have everything clear enough. Thank you very much for your attention.